And thus we stroll through the land of swoll. And no, I don't mean the swoll you get from a good workout. I mean the swoll from pregnancy. Welcome to the Dekanta channel, where we discuss all things educational and we never duck away from difficult topics, including how to combat and alleviate the symptoms of swelling during pregnancy. So let's begin with why swelling happens in the first place, and then go into how we can fight it. If you're in the second or third trimester, especially if this is your second pregnancy, you've probably already experienced the fun and horrifying experience of not being able to take your ring off of your ring finger anymore, or any rings you may have on your fingers, that is. But our fingers aren't the only place where this gradual swelling, also called edema, can occur. It can also, unfortunately, attack our legs and our ankles and our feet, in addition to our poor little fingers.
Yeah, that's some lovely swelling right there. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Look at that edema. Lovely swelling.
Since our bodies are producing approximately 50% more blood and bodily fluids in general to meet the needs of our baby, and retaining more water than usual, and our uterus is pressing on and slightly blocking the veins, which are also softer now too, thanks to your pregnancy hormones that bring the blood from your legs back to your heart again, this swelling that we are experiencing is an obvious and yet still uncomfortable side effect of pregnancy. And although it's pretty normal to have this gradual swelling, it's also pretty annoying, especially by the end of the day, if you've been standing for a long period of time or if you've been out in the heat. So going along with what I just said about standing a lot or being out in the heat, then we know that gravity and heat are basically our arch nemesis right now when it comes to swelling. Since all that extra water we're holding on to right now likes to gather in the lowest parts of our body, i.e. our legs and our ankles and our feet, especially after standing, and just helping gravity bring it down there, the best thing we can do as the first thing to combat swelling is to avoid standing for prolonged periods of time. Now, this might be quite the struggle for many career paths and life choices out there, but if you have the chance to sit down, take that chance. At the very least, get yourself some compression socks or some supportive tights or stockings, and wear shoes that don't pinch your feet anywhere. They're comfortable and wide enough for your feet to expand. And that goes for your clothing too. Now is simply not the time to pull out those adorable skinny jeans that cut off the circulation down at the bottom of your ankles. Now is the time for comfortable, loose clothing. Think pajamas. Live in your pajamas if you can. Now, we also want to try and combat gravity's effect on our feet by sitting with our feet elevated in a propped up position as often as we can. And hey, while your feet are up there, it's always a good idea to request from a loved one to massage your feet in circles, gently, returning all of that blood back up through your legs and to your heart, as opposed to just sitting there coagulated in your feet. Side note, if you don't have a loved one who's willing to massage your poor swollen feet, then definitely book a massage therapist for that, or a reflexologist. You'll thank me later. Although it seems counterintuitive since we already have enough fluid being retained as it is, drinking more water will actually help you flush out excess water. So by drinking more fluids, you reduce fluid retention. Weird. In fact, the Institute of Medicine recommends about 10 cups or 2.4 liters of water per day. I know that I am personally guilty of not getting that much fluid per day, but if you are capable of downing that much water, by all means do it to help your swelling issues. Certain dietary intakes can also make your swelling better or worse. For example, by adding more potassium to your diet, so think bananas, squash, spinach, sweet potatoes, avocado, coconut water, etc., and having less amounts of sodium, then you can increase your chances of not being as swollen during pregnancy. If you're fortunate enough to live in a warm area or have access to an indoor pool if you happen to be living somewhere cold, then being in the water can definitely help combat gravity's pull on our body, which will also help minimize the swelling that we're experiencing during pregnancy. Although the idea of walking somewhere isn't probably as appealing as swimming for your poor swollen feet, that is, and if it's not too hot outside, then it's also a good idea to take a nice, comfortable stroll at a very soft, decent pace just to keep the blood flowing through your body. Or you can help the blood flow in your feet just the same by bending and stretching your foot up and down at least 30 times, or rotating your foot in a circle 8 times one way and 8 times the other way. You probably want to try and do that at least once a day. Last but not least, if we want to combat our heat nemesis, then what you can do is use a cold compress or something that is cooler on your poor feet and ankles and legs, or have these areas soaking in a cool Epsom salt bath to help not only reduce the swelling, but also the pain too. Or, if you live somewhere cold, you could just walk outside in your flip-flops through the snow. It's also important to note here that if you experience mild, gradual swelling through pregnancy, this is pretty normal. But if you were to experience a sudden onset of swelling that was painful, especially in just one leg or the other, this could be an indication of a blood clot, and that would be something you would obviously want to go see your doctor immediately for. Sudden swelling overall, especially if that swelling is localized in your hands or your face, could also mean an increased blood pressure, which could be a sign of preeclampsia. So if you notice any of this sudden, rapid swelling, not the gradual, mild swelling that comes along as normal with pregnancy, then definitely call your doctor and seek help immediately. And other than feeling swollen, what else has week 38 of pregnancy felt like? Here's the scoop.
Getting baby girl checked on because she had decreased movements over the hour before I got here. So she only moved like 7 times within the hour with me poking and prodding her. So here we are, getting checked and making sure that she's okay, that everything's all right.
One should not watch Inside Out while they're pregnant in their 3rd trimester, especially when Bing Bong dies.
Baby, are you down, 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 down? Yeah, Alice, come here.
With only 2 more weeks left of gestation, what's our little one up to in there? Just to reiterate again from past videos, at this point during pregnancy, baby lengths and weights and sizes in general can vary vastly from one person to another. But right now, we can assume that our little one is somewhere within the range of 17 to 20 inches long, or 43.2 to 50.8 centimeters long, and they likely weigh between 6.25 and 7.5 pounds. So about the length of a leek as seen in the model here. Although the majority of our little one's organs are fully functional, their brains and their lungs are still going to continue to mature. In fact, the human brain isn't fully developed until age 25, by the way. You're probably pretty excited and maybe a little nervous at this point to meet your little one and gaze into those beautiful, cute little eyes. And you might be wondering, what color eyes do they have? Well, if they happen to have brown eyes, chances are that they're going to stay brown. However, if your baby is born with gray or blue eyes, then they could change to green, brown, or hazel in 9 months' time from now. So it's kind of going to be a gamble if your baby's born with gray or blue eyes as to what that color solidifies as down the road. Being swoll during pregnancy isn't quite as great as being swoll from a great workout, and by doing things that combat gravity and heat. Have you tried any other amazing tricks to help with your pregnancy swelling? If you have, let me know in the comments below. These videos take quite a bit of time to make, but it would only cost you 1 second to like this one. To join me for the birth of this little one in just a couple weeks, all you have to do is subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.